Well, thanks for popping into Wano's Photos. And yeah, we talk about everything road cycling here. So if you're into that, remember to subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss any more content about road cycling. And we talk about all the controversial stuff here. Anyway, let's just get into the video, which will be on these Reynolds Deep tubulars that I have and the experiences that I've had. So let's roll that intro and get into it. Well, the wheels we're talking about today are the Super DVT Reynolds wheels, which stands for Super Deep V tubular. And the wheels are quite deep, and the design parameters on them is that they have that wider profile that we're seeing in the modern tyres to accommodate wider tyres, and it also has a very flat side to it, and it comes not to a point like the older designs where the spokes leave the rim. It actually has quite a rounded section at the back, so they're quite deep at the 66mm. Now I picked these up for about $1,100 AUD, which is insanely cheap. They must have been a one-off in a store that I was buying them from, and the only problem was it didn't come with skewers, but I had some skewers hanging around, so that was not an issue. So those wheels were a real bargain, and that was brand spanking new from a shop. So this is one of the things with tubulars. If you want to ride them, you can actually pick them up extremely cheap, even second-hand, because people generally don't want them. They feel that they're a lot of faffing around and sticking on tyres, and what do you do if you get a puncture? Well, if you have any issues about that, I made a video on that, how easy it is to fit a tyre on, and all you need to do is just carry a spare tubular and you can just pop it on and pump it up, and that'll get you home. So don't worry about that, about getting stuck on the side of the road or sticking them on, because I've got all the instructions, and just check out my videos on that one. So the question is, how do they ride on the road? Now, these wheels are very deep. So, you know, the first question is how do they handle crosswinds? Well, that is actually quite amazing, because I found that these wheels really perform quite well in crosswinds. We here in Perth have it is very windy city. So you have to deal with wind all the time. And I've really found that unless it's like almost stormy weather, these wheels, they don't really give you an issue, and they're quite easy to ride in windy conditions, which is quite amazing considering they're 66mm deep. Now I am a heavy rider, so if you was a featherweight it may affect you more, but in general they perform quite well for a deep wheel. Okay, as with all really deep wheels, you need to somehow extend the valve. Now you can, when you have clinches, you just buy a tube that's got a long valve, but with tubulars it doesn't work like that. The tubulars come with a standard length and you have to buy an extender. Now get yourself some good extenders. Don't buy those cheapy ones which you can't move the valve to the end, because they're just rubbish, right? So you need to buy yourself an extender where it actually screws onto the original tube, and the removable valve is then moved and affixed to the end of the extender. And this makes it a lot easier to deal with them. If you want to put any sealant in, it makes it a lot easier. So that's what I recommend. Make sure if you're getting these really deep tubulars, make sure you get a good quality extension. I'm using BBB ones. They're actually quite good quality. They're quite nice. Okay, so what are the cons with this wheel here? Well, one thing that I have noticed is the ride comfort is not that great. They're quite a harsh ride, this particular wheel. So if that doesn't bother you, that's okay. But compared to my Campagnolia Boras, the Boras are like a lounge suite in comparison. They're much more compliant and take out the road noise and the road buzz a lot better. So that is one thing. They're a harsh riding wheel. So yep, you've got a deep dish wheel, and you might save a few watts, because as we know, the depth of the wheel is the single most biggest factor for aerodynamics on a bike when it comes to the wheels. And yeah, so you've got to balance that. You've got to balance that with, you want fast wheels and ride comfort. Okay, so that's really the only con I've had, apart from my front spoke breaking, which I've had fixed, and it cost me like 45 bucks to get a new spoke put on. But yeah, that was a bit unusual because it was on the front wheel. I don't know if maybe I knocked it or something had hit it previously, because the front wheel doesn't have a lot of loading, and it's unusual for the spoke to go on the front wheel. And this is what the guys in the bike shop basically fed back to me. And so yeah, that was a bit of an unusual thing. I've had Reynolds wheels before, and they've been absolutely bulletproof, so I was a little bit surprised. But anyway, so that's the two things that I've had issues with this wheel: is the ride quality is quite a bit harsh, and the other is I had one spoke break on the front spoke. Now, one thing to remember with these sorts of wheels is with tubulars is that if you break a spoke, you have to take the tyre off because they have the concealed spokes. And it actually has been proven that spokes actually create a lot of, well, when I say a lot of drag, in relation to the wheel, they create a lot of drag. But overall, as a rider, you're the biggest block that's pushing through the air. So on the whole scheme of things, it's little, but as far as wheels go, concealed nipples are actually faster. Well, anyway, in conclusion, I think the wheels, for what I paid for them, they're absolutely fantastic. I can't complain for the price. I mean, this is the price of a high-end aluminium wheel. I got a brand new carbon tubular wheel for it. So price-wise, they were great. And if you're looking at something like this second-hand, you can pick up some real bargains. Tubulars second-hand, you can get some fantastic carbon wheels, high-performance wheels for really, really good value. And that's why tubulars are great. Yes, you might pay a little bit more for the tyres, but the rims you can pick up off your flea markets, or what do you call it, your second-hand markets that you have in your part of the world. We have Facebook and Gumtree here, but I know they have Greg's List in America and some of those other ones. So those sorts of websites are really good, and you can really get some high-quality wheels for some really good prices. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. So enjoy your bikes and enjoy your tubular tyres. Cheers.